Cinema back, another dish. How we doing out there? Good, great, grand, and wonderful. As you see on your screen, your dial. However, why? Why do you do this to yourself? Don't get me wrong. What I'm recommending is good for the most part. I will not disclose which ones aren't. But listen, if there's a Shaw Brothers box set, chances are they're all classics, right? I'm referring to maybe some of the newer modern foreign action flicks I get sent to me, or perhaps some of the horror films that I get sent to me. Listen, if you talk to me off mic, I'll tell you exactly which ones I'm like, no, that was shit. But you don't get on the microphone and be mean. Well, in here, just so we're clear, when I say that a film is shit, that's not like you, who, maybe not love film as much as I do. That's not like you saying it. When I say that a film's shit, I still, round of applause that the film even got made, no matter how shitty it is. If you have a fucking Blu-ray slip cover, you've won. No matter how shitty your film is, you've won. Or, at least for me, you're better than me. Because I write movies and I have no Blu-ray slip covers to my movies. So, for my own movie. But, outside of that, I think the quality has really gone downhill here. I think I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I cannot wait until this is over. I don't mind talking to, a director or an actor or actress or whatever. That's fine. I like doing that. That's fun. I should appreciate that, people are willing to speak with me and they have a good time on the show. I should be grateful for that. But, unless there's more dollars showing up in my bank account for taking as much time as I do with this podcast, that it's not worth it. I don't care how many fucking movies you send me. I'll just buy them. Just buy them, because quite frankly, even if you were to, and I think I deserve more, but if you were to pay me what my day job pays me, I would have no problem doing it. But the fact of the matter is, this stupid show reaches across the goddamn globe. I don't know how, but it reaches across the goddamn globe, and I don't know, man. Come on, man. Come on, blood. As you see on your screen, your dial. However, you are choosing to join me today. I talk shit, but for the most part, I appreciate you. For the most part, not entirely. Some of what I said previously is 100% true. We are now in, what is this, number 4? Is this number 4 in the Shaw Brothers Collection Volume 1? Is this number 4? I believe it is. Shaolin Temple. I really don't get tired of watching these movies. I really don't. I like a yeah, yo. I do. I just love all styles of hand-to-hand combat. I really, really do. I love, and this one had a fucking plethora in it, if memory serves. Or maybe it was Challenge of the Masters. But either way, when you watch a Shaw Brothers film, even if you're like, well, these action films aren't like John Wick, man, look at what they're doing. I'm sorry that the sound effects when they hit each other isn't what you want it to be, but this is also fucking 40 years ago. So, actually more. What is it? Yeah, almost fucking 50 years ago. Shaolin Temple, a.k.a. Death Chambers. A.k.a. Death Chambers is a Shaw Brothers film directed by Cheh. It is one of the Shaolin Temple themed martial art films and concerns itself with the rebellion against the Qings. With an all-star cast featuring the second and third generations of Cheh's stable of actors, including David Chiang. And that's another thing, too, that I love about Shaw Brothers films is,
over the course of the past, I don't know, 3 to 5 days, I've watched 3 to 5 movies. David Chang's in it. Alexander Fouchang's in it. I'm sorry, not Mafui, but Lung-Wei Wang Lung-Wei is in it. Like I do not get tired of seeing these faces. I really don't. In fact, while Wang Lung-Wei may not be as talented of a martial art, and I use that loosely because he's really fucking talented, but like I love seeing his face. Like he has one of the best villain faces ever. Like it reminds me of late 70s and 80s where you always had that dude that played the villain. You just like, oh, he's just got that face to play a goddamn villain. And I love on the one hand, that's very much China being China when you have, 10 films slated to be released that year and it has the same cast. Though back in the day, it's not so much now, but like, you know what I'm saying? On the one hand, it's cool because like, hey, you're going to the movie with the friends. You feel like you know these people, right? Because you see them all the fucking time. On the flip side, it doesn't really give the artist, the actor, the whoever a whole lot of leeway to do other shit. So, but I am grateful for the machine while it lasted. The machine being the Shaw Brothers empire. Chenche's stable of actors included David Chiang, Tai Lung, Alexander Fouchang, and Kuan-Chun, as well as cameo appearances by several is an understatement. There is a shit ton of cameos in this film of actors who would later become known as the Venom's mob. We will get there, ladies and gentlemen. We will get there. The film serves as a pseudo-prequel to 5 Shaolin Masters, which was the one that I just did, which was the 3rd installment, which is kind of interesting to think about because this film came about a year and a half, close to 2 years after 5 Shaolin Masters. I mean, that script had to have been being kicked around, right? You just flip it and reverse it. Like just fucking put Shaolin Temple first and 5 Shaolin, whatever. I'm being a silly goose, but it still works. Still feels like it's a continuation. I just think it would be pretty sweet if the fucking temple burned down at the end of Shaolin Temple, and then we lead into 5 Shaolin Masters. That would have been fucking great. The film opens with the chief Shaolin monks realizing that time is not on their side, and they must train more fighters to fight the Qings. The monk Hai Hsien, played by Shan Mao, opposes this as he is secretly working for the court. Yeah, he's a dirty rat. Outside, many men are sitting in front of the temple waiting to be accepted in. Feng Shiyu, played by Alexander Fouchang, Ma Chao Xing, take a drink, played by Tony Liu, no, not that Tony Liu, and others, as the temple tests the will of potential students. Actually, I don't like that synopsis. I saw a better synopsis elsewhere. Give me a second. And the Shaolin Temple is the last place to resist defeat by the Manchu Dynasty, mostly because of their unique fighting style. Men from far and wide come to wait outside the temple. In fact, there's I want to say 3 or 4 groups peppered throughout the film. We maybe didn't need that many, but whatever. It's old school Hollywood. Spend money. Old school Shaw Brothers. Spend the money. Men from far and wide come to wait outside the temple, hoping that they will be admitted as pupils. So the story goes, when you want to be a Shaolin monk, what did you do that you are escaping from? Not the case in this one, though. Well, even though that Alexander Fouchang does want vengeance, but for the most part, that's not why everybody else is there. But I think growing up, that I don't know why I thought that. In fact, as I'm thinking on the spot right now, I don't know why I thought this, but I just thought that you always went to, like, the Shaolin Temple to, like, be reformed and get forgiveness and everything. And I couldn't tell you which movie told me that or made me think that, but that just shows you what a fucking knuckle-dragging mouth breather I fucking am. As the abbot becomes older, he realizes that the Manchus are determined to destroy the temple and eradicate the Shaolin fighting techniques. To this end, he decides that it is time, at last, to admit worthy men into the temple as students, to learn the way of Shaolin. So we get back to here. Feng Yu, who always seems to be the fucking comedic relief. And actually, for those of you that don't know, Alexander Fouchang met a very depressing and sad end. I believe he wrecked his car, died in a car accident, and he was like this is at the height of his shit. Like, he was, kind of hitting his stride, not only as a kung fu performer, but also as an actor himself. And I mean, when you watch him, I think him, Tai Lung, and David Chiang, they just have a different way that they'll kind of go about the acting than, say, some of the other regulars that you see. They definitely stand out with their acting careers, which is why, especially David Chiang and Tai Lung, their careers went way past the end of the Shaw Brothers era. So, and I think without, the tragedy that struck for Alexander Fouchang, who knows? I mean, he still may be making movies right now because a lot of these people are still alive. Some of them aren't, but a lot of, Lung-Wei, Wang Lung-Wei, it would be not a dream of mine, but it would be like something on the bucket list if I wrote a film and I somehow got him to be like a Godfather fucking villain. But, I wouldn't have him do too much physical movement. He's like fucking 70, 80 years old. But I don't know if that'll happen. It looked like his last film came in like 2000 or something like that. So, what are you going to do? Yeah, we got David Chang, Wang Lung-Wei, and Wang Lung-Wei plays Ma Fu-Yi again. It's his second time, I believe. I believe I mentioned that in 5 Shaolin Masters. He was Ma Fu-Yi, a fucking goddamn traitor. And guess what? Spoiler alert, he's a fucking traitor in this one too. Because one thing that you could count on for Wang Lung-Wei is he was going to be a villain in a Shaw Brothers film. And the thing about it is, like, I've seen 5 Shaolin Masters half a dozen times, but I've only seen Shaolin Temple once or twice, and it kind of took me off guard because he arrives with Tai Lung, who plays Kai Dijon. Not Dijon. Did I just do Dijon mustard? Fuck. Kai Dijon? Fuck, that wasn't much better. Jesus Christ. But I kind of got giddy because I was like, oh man, these motherfuckers, is my phone fucking, the ringer's on? I can't reach it, but I piss poor, guys. I apologize. My ringer hasn't been on in 8 years, and today it is for God knows what reason. But I thought Wang Lung-Wei, I was like, oh, is he a good guy in this one? And then like 30 minutes in, you're like, oh no, that's right, he's not. Who do we got here? Alexander Fouchang. This is my notes. Alexander Fouchang always seems to be the comedic relief in the. He's always like the child, just kind of like, and he plays it well. I think, again, kind of circling back to the tragedy. I think the thing that you see with Alexander Fouchang and Tai Lung and David Chiang is a range. A little range as an actor where, that's not necessarily something that you need if we're talking about, throwing fists and kicks, right? There was a lot of training in this film. Whole lot of training, including weapons. One of my favorite training montages, even Rocky had a montage. One of my favorite training montages was the Wing Chun on the tree. So, they cut up a tree to act as a Wing Chun dummy. I like that stuff, man. You know why? If you want to learn some Wing Chun, you just go out in your yard and cut a tree and make yourself a Wing Chun dummy. I tell you what, be cheaper than how much they cost. I looked into it one time, even though I have nobody to fucking train me, and it's like $2,500 for a fucking Wing Chun dummy. Even though I have no one to train me, so maybe spending a couple grand on that, that makes you a goose of the silly variety. As aforementioned, Mafu-Yi, played by Lung-Wei, is the rat, and he tells the... actually, no, it's one of the other monks that is the rat, but there's two rats because he recruits fucking Mafu-Yi, and of course Mafu-Yi's like, yeah, fuck this temple. The rat tells Emperor Chiang of the Shaolin Temple's inner workings, and the emperor is, of course, upset that the temple is letting outsiders in. He is trying to stop a rebellion from happening because he knows just how good those monk martial arts are. Ain't no fucking joke. And you know what? Heart, soul, and brain of steel cannot be shaken. Cannot be shaken. In fact... if you don't know too much about the Shaolin Temple, or at least what it was like when you were trying to get accepted into one of these things, like, they don't fuck around. So, for instance, like the three that are waiting outside in the beginning, they're waiting with a host of others, but all of them kind of drop like flies because they've been kneeling for 5 days waiting for the abbot to allow them in. And one time, I think it's like on day 4 or 5, they bring out food, and everyone besides the three, our three main characters, eat the food, and they are promptly dismissed. And it's like that throughout the film, just like this test of endurance. And what I did find also interesting when I was watching the bonus features, I believe this one was the interview with David Chang, and I don't have much to say on it. I'll just give you the point that I thought was really interesting. He said in the interview, like, when they had made these films, as time progressed, he wished that they, meaning the filmmakers, actors, actresses, whatever, knew more about Shaolin, the temple, and the inner workings of it, because it kind of seems like maybe they missed the mark in terms of the representation of who is hold on a second, I gotta take this message, guys. Hold on. Oh, are you fucking kidding me? I can't even get my fucking charger out. Oh no, it's no big deal. It's no big deal, guys. Fuck. Oh. And now I'm getting a phone call? Hold on a second. Actually, this will be pretty funny, gang. Hi, Danielle. You're on the Ellis Cinema Podcast. How's it going?
Gang. Oh, wow. I'm on a podcast.
Yep.
I've never done that before.
Yep. You're...
What does one do on a podcast?
Well, believe it or not, just talk. Well, Danielle, we are discussing the Shaolin, the 1974 Shaw Brothers classic Shaolin Temple right now. Now, I know you've seen that movie at least a dozen or two times, so...
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yes.
You remind me of the plot real quick.
Yeah, so the plot's real simple. The Shaolin Temple is under fire from the Manchu Dynasty. They do not want outsiders coming into the Shaolin Temple to learn martial arts in an attempt to revolt against the Manchu Dynasty.
Yeah, that film is really stressful for me because I feel very passionate about it, actually.
I mean, who doesn't like a good Buddhist?
If you don't like Buddhists, then we have a problem.
I just want you to know that I'm not going to edit this, and you will be on the show. I just so we're clear on that, I do not edit anything.
Like, who the hell is that?
Well, they already heard the phone ring. I must have forgot that I had my ringer on. So the audience knows that I could not get my phone off the charger as it was ringing, and then I just picked up. So we're all friends here.
They're going to hear me order Jimmy John's too. Hold on. Can I get 2 Vitos, 1 with pickles and hot peppers, and a slim one, please? Also a side of cake and ranch.
So...
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, so we got a Jimmy John's order. We got our 4th installment.
Number 5, a regular number 5.
Shaolin Temple.
You got it. Thank you. 1890. Perfect.
So I will not say your name over the air.
I don't care. Just say my name.
All right, Dandy. I will not say your name over the airwaves. But if you are going to be around in about 8.5 minutes when I wrap this bad boy up, I will gladly give you a call back.
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your guest spot for Shaolin Temple.
I hope that I said something profound and that all your viewers agree that, I feel very strongly about this.
See, I told you guys it's a good movie, and that's coming.
Right.
Now you, yeah, you heard it from someone else other than me. All right, give me a second, and I will call you back. Okay, bye. Well, that was weird, wasn't it? That's never happened on the show before. Most people would turn their goddamn ringers off. So where were we? We know Dandy likes the Shaolin Temple. I believe there is some help, or people ask for some help for Feng Xinyu, who that's played by Alexander Fouchang, plays Feng Xinyu. Master Wu Mei, who you never see her face, is asked by Kai Duzon and Hu DDD. I'm serious, DD. Hu DD. To help Feng Xinyu not break the rules of the temple because he seeks revenge, and we just can't have that happening. There's the part that I accidentally fucking skipped over. Shocker, Ma Faiyu is in cahoots with the one of the monks who's a rat. So, check this out. This whole movie ends in what's called Wooden Dummy Alley. Wooden Dummy Alley. And it is exactly what it sounds like. So, they're basically rotating Wing Chun dummies. And most of the climax takes place in this underground. So kind of the setup, well, I don't want to spoil too much, but we'll just say that our climax happens in multiple areas of this wooden dummy alley, as they call it. It's almost like a dungeon with multiple paths that you can take. And I like how it's executed in terms of how the fights take place, because they're not super long. In fact, this one is different than at least the last 2 that I've done. I think 5 Shaolin Masters had 20 fights. Like, I'm not kidding. Or maybe that was Boxer from Chung-Fung that had like 20, 25 fights. This one had like 6. The majority of this is all training montages. I mean, it is Rocky 4 without the awesome music. I kid you not. But the reason, I guess I could spoil this for you, but the reason why they're going after our heroes in the wooden dummy alley is because they entered the wooden dummy alley without permission. Now, the reason why that's kind of silly to me is that if you aren't trained well enough, you'll get fucked up in wooden dummy alley. Like, it would be more of a punishment than being sent away. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they say, oh, you were told not to, and now you're down there. If you're not trained well, you're going to catch a beating. And Alexander Fouchang, who isn't fully trained yet, even though he's been there, because they kind of been making him stoking the fires and making food and stuff because he's obnoxious. So they don't want to train him to kill people if he's going to be fucking obnoxious. But I just thought it was funny that because they entered without permission, that was reason enough for the rat monk, the monk whom is a rat, to gather a bunch of troops and, oh, you need to kill them because they went in Wooden Dummy Alley. And everybody besides the monk is like, why? But why, though? I mean, if he's not good, isn't he going to be fucked up for a while? But, you know, you got to listen. Shit rolls downhill, they say. So we see some good fights between Fang Xinyu and Ma Fui, so that would be Alexander Fouchang and Wang Lung-Wei. I cannot stress to you how good or how fun it is to watch Tai Lung, Alexander Fouchang, Wang Lung-Wei do their thing. I cannot, especially when we're kind of like rotating it, like we're rotating the fights. Because like at first you got Feng Xinyu fighting Ma Fui, and that turns into Kai Duzon. God damn it, Duzon. And Hugh DD stopping it, which ultimately leads to an escape. I don't want to ruin too much more. Let's just say that the last 25 minutes of this film, did you hear me? I don't know if you heard the last few shows on that I said most of Shaw Brothers films end on the climax. That makes me so happy. Like sometimes it is so on the nose for the climax. You will actually see the death blows given, and the villain is freeze frame with like blood coming out of his mouth and everything, and it says the end. Like that shit happens with Shaw Brothers. I can't tell you how happy that makes me. There are no credits, nothing. The end, and it literally goes back to the menu screen. I mean, if you're watching a Blu-ray, that makes me so happy. But anyway, 25 minutes of all different styles, all different weapons used. Not so much as I will talk about and get into a Challenge of the Masters, which they really went above and beyond for that. But another just goddamn good fucking epic from Shaw Brothers. Shaolin Temple. Shawscope. Shaw Brothers Volume 1 Collection. Arrow Video, Shawscope, Shaw Brothers Collection, Volume 1, Ellis Cinema. And we had a surprise appearance from Dandy. Stupid. Ellis Cinema, Arrow Video, Hawika.